I'm assuming you think Mayfield's going to be the starter, but who do you think is going to be the starting quarterback in week 1 for the Panthers?
Well, I'd be surprised if it wasn't Baker Mayfield. I think the only reason you can maybe see Sam Darnold is because of the familiarity with the offense. That might be the reason he would start, but I don't see it. I think we know they moved on from Sam Darnold. They went after Baker Mayfield for a reason. But to be completely honest, I don't know if it really matters much for this team. They aren't going anywhere this year. Matt Rule is going to be coaching college football next year. I know they went, like I said, they acquired him. They've seen what Sam Darnold can do in this offense. They already know what he can do, so I don't think there's any reason to trot him back out there. But when I look at Baker Mayfield, this is a guy, yeah, he's flashed some talent. He's had some nice moments in the NFL. But really, when you look at it, he couldn't get it done with one of the top-rated offensive lines in the league, 2 stud wide receivers, 2 stud running backs, 2 stud tight ends. I mean, there's just no reason for me to think that he's going to be able to get it done with this roster in Carolina. So I have very little faith in either one of these guys. I think both of them are going to be holding clipboards after this year.
Yeah, I agree with you as well, because we didn't see a lot from Sam Darnold. I understand he had it was 3 years in New York, and it was in a terrible situation, but he didn't get much of a better situation when he went to Carolina, because if Christian McCaffrey isn't 100%, which he never really is, they're in trouble, because I feel like McCaffrey's that whole team. And I know they have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. They're solid receivers, right? But I feel like McCaffrey was that whole team. And again, we've seen the limitations of Sam Darnold. Baker Mayfield, we've seen, like I said, as you mentioned, we've seen him, have some flashes, but it really hasn't been to where we're like, oh, wow, this guy is a legitimate franchise quarterback. So I'll see what happens with Carolina, but I also do agree with you as well. I think Matt Rule is not going to be coaching the Panthers next year. But we also know that David Tepper is not a patient owner, right? He's, I think, had 3 or 4 different quarterbacks in 4 years, and this will probably be his next year. He'll have his 3rd coach. So we'll see what happens with Carolina. But if they win 5 games, again, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised if they win less than that.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Town Podcast, or the STP Pod for short. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and much more. Also, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Sports Town Podcast. If you want to check out more videos of the Sports Town Podcast, click on the right.